Hey guys, Turk here. We are going to look at working on our construction material list today. So previously you've worked on your drawing. This is my example. This is not the same dimensions, remember, as the one you were working with. But this gives me a perfect representation of the materials that I need to purchase, okay? So for my drawing here, I'll use 2x8s, okay? You guys will not be using 2x8s for yours. You got to double check, see what material you're supposed to order, okay? So looking at my image here, I have two 16-footers I need to order because I cannot order them 15-foot length. I have to order them, they come in foot measurements starting at 8 again. 8-footers, 10-footers, 12-footers, 14-footers, and 16-footers are very common measurements that you can get from Home Depot and building sites. We're going to order ours from Home Depot, okay? Just to make things simpler. So I have the two 15-footers that run this way. And then the ones that run this way, the joists, and these two outside rim joists are 6-footers, okay? The last video we decided, let me just double count. Let me show you guys here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. Now, I counted it by twos, so I would need, the reason I counted it like that is I'm counting two 6-footers will get me, I'll get two 6-footers out of a 12-footer, is what I was trying to get at there. So, for my drawing here, I'll just go with seven total 12-footers, okay? So, I need 7 at 12. I'm writing it on my little scrap of paper here. 7 at 12. 2 at 16. And then for mine, what I'll do is I'll count every intersection, and that is going to be how many screws I need. Now, for my 2x8s, I need 4 screws in each junction or connection point. So this connection point here would need 4 screws. If you're using 2x6, you can get away with 3, and if you're using 2x4, you can get away with 2. So what I need to do is count every single point where these connect, and I multiply it by 3 later on. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then I double it because the bottom is going to be the same, so it's 26. So I need 26 times 3, and that's how many screws I would need, okay? So once we know the materials we need, so that works out to 78. I get 78 screws. Now we won't be able to buy a box of 75, but what we'll have to do is we'll have to look for a box of screws that is bigger than that will meet our needs. Okay, so I'll write that down. For this build, I would use 3-inch screws in length, 3-inch wood grade, or wood construction screws. Okay, you can order, there's a lot of different types of construction screws. Ones that are coated in brown or green, those would be for pressure treated. If you were deciding that you were doing this as a deck, you would want to take that into consideration and get those matching screws, because the matching screws would be protected from the rain. So you wouldn't want to put a normal construction screw into your outside deck, because when moisture gets to it, it's going to rust and it'll leave rust stains running down your deck. So you don't want to do that. And they would end up rusting out and failing sooner than a protected one. But for our purposes, we can just stick with the... actually, you guys can decide. You can do this either way. If you want to do it as a deck, you can look it up. I'll show you how to do that. And if you want to decide to do it as a subfloor, you can do it as that. It's exact same process either way. Just choose one or the other and indicate that for me, okay? So what you can do is, once you get this here, this is going to be attached. This is the construction material list. It says TCJ4. You are going to have one that's specific to your course code. Whatever course you're viewing this from, that'll be the only change. Other than that, it should be the same. Now what you want to do is you want to go to, you guys will only be able to view this, okay? You will not be able to fill it out because you are going to see my master version of it. You will have to go in, File, and then click Make a Copy, okay? Once you click File and Make a Copy, it will save a copy of this into your drive file where you will be able to edit it. You must make sure you do that. Don't try to fill out mine because it won't allow you to do it, okay? So that's the first thing you have to do. Once you have that copy made and saved, then you can rename it here too, okay? So you will rename this. Okay, look at the assignment sheet. It will tell you under classroom there what I've asked you guys to rename this as, okay? That's part of your grade, so make sure you rename it. I don't want to have 20 versions of this submitted to me with all the exact same title at the top. It'll be very difficult for me to see whose is whose, especially if some of you forget to put in your name here, right? It might make it more difficult for me to distinguish whose is whose. So that's key. Rename this after you've saved it, okay? It might actually, once you make a copy, it'll prompt you to rename it. So just do that then, okay? Okay, so as for filling this out, simple part here, name, project. Under the project, you can call this subfloor assignment, culminating task, or you can call it deck assignment, culminating task. Whichever one you want to do is fine. The only difference is if you choose deck, then when you search up here, I'll show you what to do. You're going to look for pressure treated wood, and you're going to have brown screws instead of non-protected ones. Okay, it doesn't matter. Choose which one you want. Under parts, okay, under this parts section here, I'm going to put joists. Okay, that way I know what part I'm actually talking about on my floor. Okay, then my other part would be my 2 long rim joists. Okay, so I can put rim joists, right, filling that in. And then my only other part is my fasteners. Okay, fasteners. Okay, that's just going to indicate to me which each one goes to. This is a very, very simple project here, but when we do more involved projects, what you will do is you will break these up into packages. Package 1, package 2, and package 3. The first package would be your floor, okay, and you would include everything under that header that would be included in the floor itself. The second one would be called wall package, and then the third one would be called roof package. Okay, if you're doing a more advanced version of this, that's what we'll be doing, and I will go over that with anybody that's doing that. But if you're viewing this right now, you are going to only have these 3 things probably: joists, rim joists, and fasteners. It just makes it easier to break it up later if we were to order these parts and they arrive on the job site. If it wasn't you that ordered them, then the people that are building the structure will be able to go, oh, okay, the 12 footers are joists. Okay, so what we do here is type of material. This is where we are going to put in what they are called. Okay, these are the actual measurements. This is what we would call it when we actually look it up. So what we'll do is we'll go to Home Depot and we'll look it up. I'm going to use 2x8, so I'm going to type in 2x8, enter. Okay. Now, this is where it's going to switch between which one you chose. Dimensional lumber here, spruce. Okay, that's what you're going to do if you decide you're going with a subfloor. If you want to do it as a deck, you can pick pressure treated lumber. That's the only difference. You just get to make that decision on your own. Okay. Now I've clicked into 2x8. It's going to give me a whole bunch of different options. Okay. Now what I want to look for here is if I'm building a normal house, I just want to look dimension lumber. That means it's just for building houses, or framing lumber. That's fine too. But this says 1x2x8. So that is not a 2x8. Okay. That's narrower than a 2x4. These are 2x2s by 8 feet. The third one is the length. Okay. So you must know that the third one is going to be the length. Okay. The other 2 are just the width and height of the board, but the last one is going to be the length. So for my deck, I'm looking for 2x8s. These are 2x10s, 2x8 8-footers. And what did I say I need? I needed 16s. So 2x8 by 10s. That's not going to be doing me. I'm going to just keep scrolling down. 2x8 by 12s. Okay. So what I can do here is I can highlight this. Whoops. Let's click on it. Take me in here. Okay. So once I've come in here, I can look. 2x8. Okay. That's the dimension. And they're 12 footers. Okay. So what we can do here is you can just highlight this, or you can type it if you prefer. If you're searching it on another device, you can do that. Just copy this. Okay. and we're going to paste it right in here. That'll tell me the type of material I'm ordering. Okay, easy enough, simple. Now, if you find that one of the, if it's a longer one, and well, I'll show you that in a second. I'll put my comments in here. Under comments, what I'd like you to do is this. Copy the URL from it, okay? Copy construction material list and put that right in the comments, okay? That way I can use it. Now, on yours, what I will do is I'm going to switch it so comments is further over here so it doesn't take up as much space. But one thing about when you're working with spreadsheets here, you see how it runs long and it's like right into my price each and my total price. I don't want that to happen. So what I can do is I can just hover over the center right here between G and H, and it shows up a little blue line in a set of arrow tabs. So I can actually hover over that until I see that. You don't want this. You want to go until you're hovered there and you see that, and grab it and you can just drag it over, and it's just going to extend and make it fit. Okay, very simple way to do it. Okay, now everything fits and it's not overlapping. Okay, I'll probably try to move comments to the other side for you guys, so it's at the other side for you. But anyways, actually that's kind of neat. It shows up right here so you can see it. So that's handy for later if you wanted to find the item that you actually had considered purchasing for your project. Okay, now we come back over here. Price each, okay, $23.92. Okay, that's how much each one is. All right, come over here, price each, paste it in there. Okay, I don't want it to look like that, so I'm going to click back. Okay, not back there. I have to click back here. Undo. Okay, I don't want you pasting in a big, bold thing like that. So if it does that, it's just going to look like a mess. So for this one, we can try paste special. Okay, paste values only. Okay, that should just paste it without doing all that extra stuff. I probably could have done that with this one too. Paste value only, and that way it wouldn't change the font here for me. So it's probably a good idea, paste value only. Okay, instead of pasting it in. If you have even bigger font, it's just like a huge font's gonna copy in there and it'll keep that font. It'll look ridiculous. Okay, so that's that. Now, what we need to do is you need to research and find out what the length, width, and thickness of each of these is. Now, a 2x8, okay, actually I'm gonna switch these up. For yours, these will look different. I'm gonna put them in the proper thing. I'm going to switch length and thickness, because that way it formats to this, the last number being the length, okay? So keep that in mind. But the length for me here is 12. So 12, and I'll put 12, and it's feet, okay? So we make sure we just put 1 slash there, not 2, okay? Width. What is the width of a 2x4, or 2x8, sorry? I already know it. You guys will have to look this up for your material that you are working with. You will not be using 2x8 probably. Width on a 2x8. Now we know it's 1.5 inches for all dimensional lumber. You can actually look on the site. It'll probably tell you the actual measurements of these things. Actually, I'll check back over there and look. So you can do it like this, 1.5. Okay. Or you can also do it like this, 1.5 inches. That's up to you. How do you want to do it? Okay. I kind of like 1.5. That looks okay. Okay. But if we go back over here and I scroll down, does it tell me the dimensions? It probably does. Specifications. Assembled depth 12. Assembled height. Okay, yeah. Package height, inches. See? 1.5. And package width. So do that. 1.5 height, 7.25. So 7.25 would be 7.25 inches. That's the actual measurement that it comes as, okay? It's always a good thing to know. So 1.5 by 7.25. 0.25 inches. Okay. So I'm good there, right? Now my rim joists. Now this here, NO, that we have to indicate how many of them there are, okay? So those joists that I'm ordering, we decided on 7 of them. So I will put that in 7. Okay. Now I'll just fill this one in quick. I know I need two 16 footers. Okay. 1.5 again. It's going to be the same thickness. And they are 2x8s again. So we will go, I can even right click and copy that. Right click and then right click paste. I can paste that, okay? If yours will not right click paste and right click copy, you can use the shortcut and write this down. If you have a scrap piece of paper, I would write these down. These are the shortcuts for it, okay? If you want to cut something, you hold down Control and you hit the X button. That will cut something out. If you want to copy something, you will hold Control and you will hit the C button, okay? And then if you want to paste something, you will hold Control and you will hit the V button, okay? So notice those are all in a line, X, C, and V, okay? Write that down if you are having troubles with right-clicking. Sometimes it doesn't work online on Google. I installed a little thing that allows me to do it, so you might not have that installed on your desktop. So if you have a problem and it won't let you do it, do that. Okay, so 2 units, 16 feet, 1.5 by 7 3/4. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll go back out here and I want to find those 16 footers. Okay. 2x8 by 12 SPF. That's what I'm looking for. Here we go. Simple. Right here for me. Okay. I don't want to do any feedback. Okay. I'll copy this out. Copy. Okay. Seems like cheating because you're copying and pasting, but that's okay. This is what you would do in real life. You're going to make yourself a very organized spreadsheet so you can order your lumber and you have a good idea of how much it's going to cost. It's a really good thing if you're doing, again, right here, paste special, paste values only. We'll just keep the digits, okay? But this is very good if you want to give it to a customer and they can totally see the breakdown of all the cost of the materials, right? Okay, and then I will go back out here and I'll grab the link, copy, paste. I'll just click paste because it pasted fine. You can paste it special if you want and just keep the original formatting so it's black, or do it with the formatting, but it's fine either way. Okay, as for screws, well, I'll look it up for you guys. Let's type in construction screws. Okay, construction screws. Okay, so we have a few results here. These construction screws are the ones you would want to use if you are doing a basement or a subfloor, okay? If not, if you decide to go the deck route, instead of construction screw, type in deck screw, okay? And let's see what comes up. See, they're brown colored, okay? So here's 10. 3.5 inch length is good. You can go with a 3 inch or a 3.5, okay? I don't mind either one. These ones are green. These ones are brown. The color doesn't matter. It just matters because the pressure treated lumber Home Depot says is called sienna brown, and these would match that. It doesn't matter which one you choose. Just provide the link for me. Okay, but you can see the count of them. There's 100 in here, depending on how many screws you need. Okay. Now the thing about these is they get very expensive the smaller packages you buy. So if you wanted 100 screws, it would cost you, say, $13. Okay. So if I bought 2 packs of that, it would be $26. 3 packs would be $39, right? So I'm paying $39 for 300 screws, right? But if I look right here, I'm getting 700 for $2 less, okay? So make sure you pay attention to that. If by chance your project calls for, say you needed the 350 screws, or say 250 screws, right? And you'd have to buy 3 packs to do that. You're actually cheaper to buy the bigger box, and you end up with a whole bunch of leftover screws. Pretty much whenever I do a job for somebody, I just tell them buy the biggest box possible. It leaves you a lot of extra ones. That way you can take them in and out and work on your project without worrying about running out of screws and having to go buy a box. But you can see how it gets very expensive to buy them in this size, unless you only needed a few. So If you're going pressure treated, look for those pressure treated ones, okay? But the length is what we're looking for. Here's the length, number 6 by 1.5 inches. Okay, the length is what I'm worried about. I want you to have 3-inch screws, okay? Number 10 or number 8 is where you guys would want for framing, okay? So number 10 and number 8 that's the thickness of the screw, okay? Number 10 is a thicker screw. Number 8 is a little bit narrow, but it still would be fine for framing up a little subfloor, okay? So you want to look at that first, number 10 or 8. It doesn't matter which one you use, but the length has to be either 3 inches or 3.5, okay? Whenever you're using a fastener, you want it to be twice as thick as the material you're going through. Sorry, twice as long as the thickness of the material you're going through. So for our deck or subfloor, we would be going through 1.5-inch material and into another piece of material. So we want it twice as long as it is thick. So that would be 1.5 inches times 2, 3 inches. That would be the bare minimum, okay? 3 inches. Now, in practice, when you're actually building the deck, 3 inches is nicer because they go in a lot easier than the number 10 3.5s. The number 10 3.5s, they really hold, and they beat up on your impact driver a lot. You'll kill the battery a lot faster, and it just takes longer. So it would be stronger though. So if you're really concerned about the strength of it, go with the thicker ones. For our project, again, it doesn't matter which one you want. So I'm going to hop back because I was pricing out my job as a subfloor with spruce dimensional lumber. So we are going to go with construction screws, number 8, 3 inches, okay? Flathead square drive construction. Square drive is what you want. Robertson's, okay? This is 1,000 pieces, and I decided I only needed 78, so I'd probably get away with 100. So we'll see what 100 costs. Here we go. Number 8, 3-inch. And I think this is a box of 250. Let's look again. All right, for the sake of this project, I wouldn't buy these brown screws for a subfloor again, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to go with this one, just for the sake of getting this done for you guys. So again, I wouldn't buy, there's no harm in using these green screws on a subfloor. It just would cost you a little bit more. These are $12.75 for 100 pieces, whereas the ones that aren't coated would probably be like $10.75 or something, okay? So that's totally fine. For our purposes, that's what we will do. So what are these called? Deck screws. I'll paste it. Oh, see what it did? Pop me out here. So again, and drag that over just until the end of that, and that makes it look nice, okay? All right. So number, I'm going to put down 100 because that's how many's in. Well, actually, you know what? It says 100 pieces. Let's say 1 because that makes more sense because that way I don't buy 100 boxes of them, okay? So the number is the amount of boxes you bought. So if you end up needing more than one box of 100 pieces, just put 2 boxes, okay? Length, we're going to put 3 inches in there, okay? Width and thickness, you don't have to worry about that, okay? That's totally fine to leave those out for fasteners, okay? Link, again, I'll show this just for the sake of showing it. Copy and paste my link in there. And oh, it's really long, okay? So yeah, I think I'm definitely going to shift that over for you guys. When you guys see this, your comments are going to be the very last thing on here. That way you don't have to look at a whole link every time just to get to your price. Okay. So that looks good. But even so, if comments is in this one and this one's over here, don't leave your comments running way out into this gray space, because if you did that, it wouldn't, and you had to print it off for somebody, it wouldn't print the link. Not that you would need the link printed off, but if anything was out here just hanging over, it might not print it off. So make sure you drag your tabs out so they look nice, and that's going to be part of your organization grade for this, okay? So I have everything in here. That's all my parts. Name. You can type it in here too. Okay. So I can type it up here or I can type it down here. It doesn't matter. But this is the formula bar. You'll see what that does in a second. Okay, so this is where it's going to be annoying me having the link in the middle here. I'll make this easier for you guys. Price. Oh yeah, my price. Drag this out. Copy. Come on. And paste. Again, we want to go paste values only. That's definitely what we want to do. Now, total price. Now that is the total price, okay? I don't want to just buy one of these, okay? I need multiple of these. I look back over here, I need 7 of them, and I need 2 of this one, okay? Now this is very important. You can do this on a calculator to figure these out, but I'll show you why it's very important. So whenever you want to do a calculation in a cell, you hit the equals button, okay? And that's telling the computer, okay, I want you to calculate something for me. Now, what I want it to calculate is, I want it to take this cell here, so I'll just click on it, okay? And you can see how it says H4 there. Now what that means is it's H is the column, all right? 4 is the row. That's what row this cell is in, okay? So I'm telling it, I want you to take H4, which is 2392, as it popped up there for me, and I want you to do a mathematical calculation with it. Now, I can either hit plus, okay, and I can add it to something. I can hit the slash, and that'll divide it by something. Minus, it'll take this cell and subtract it from something. Or what I want to do for this one is, I want to hold Shift 8, and that'll put the little star symbol. We cannot use an X for multiplication in this because that's a letter, so it throws an error. So in place of that, we use the star symbol right above the 8. You have to hold Shift and hit 8, and that'll give you multiply. So right now, I'm telling the program, multiply H4 2392 by something. Now the thing I want to multiply it by is the amount I need. So I just scroll back over here and I actually click on that cell. Okay? And look at this, it hovers it over here telling me what it means. So it says H4 times B4. And it already tells me the calculation 167.44. Okay? So once I've clicked that second cell, I can just hit the enter button. I'm just hitting enter and boom. Now it's doing an autofill, suggested autofill. Now what that's doing is it's saying, oh, we noticed you just multiplied H4 by my count on the left side. So it's already guessing that I'm going to want to multiply this one by its count and this one by its count. Now I could click enter, or it says press Control Enter to fill the column with this formula. Or I could click this enter autofill button, but I don't want to do that just for explanation purposes for you guys. So the cool thing about this is, if by chance I decide later on that I want to change the amount of material ordered, the good thing is I can come back over here and I can just change the 7. I say, oh, I've made a mistake. I need 9 of them. 9, enter. Okay. Now what that does is it automatically changes the value over here. Okay. Because it's still multiplying whatever it finds in this cell by whatever it finds in the count cell or the number cell. Okay. So if I change any of these numbers over here, it will multiply that new number by this and it changes it. So when I see it now, it will cost me $215.28. Okay. So that's why this is important to do it this way. Again, I'll go back to 7 because I'm like, oh, that's all I want, 7. And that's it. 167.44. It's back to the normal number I wanted. Okay. Now, what we can do is we can go this one. We can type in here again, equals this cell. I'll show it to you again just for explanation purposes. H5 now. Shift 8, which gives me the star. And I want to multiply that by 2. And enter. Okay? And it puts it right down in there. So that's really nice. Now, we do not have to do that every time. If you're doing a long spreadsheet here that has a whole bunch of data in it, you don't have to do that. You could do that enter thing where it would fill it all in for you, or you can actually just go here, right click, copy, and then go to the one below it, and then right click, paste. And that just copies the formula but it knows that you want to shift the row down because it knows you shifted that calculation down one row. So it already knows that you don't want to calculate this cell number and the other one. It knows you want to shift everything down. So every time you do that, you can right click paste. So you only have to do this once and get it right. And then you can just see, I'll delete these two. Okay, those are gone. So I could just go right click, copy, and I could even just drag out a whole bunch of cells if I had a whole bunch of things here, and I could just right click and paste, and it'll copy that formula all the way down. Now it's going to show a bunch of zeros here because there's no information in these ones, okay? But as I fill out this information, if I did 1234, okay? It's a good thing to show you guys too. Without a money symbol in front of this, it doesn't know that it's money, okay? So what we can do is we can click on that cell, okay, and turn it into money by just going up here and format as currency. So it turns that cell into a currency cell. There we go. And then that automatically lets it know, hey, I want this to be 0.00. So keep that in mind too. Okay. Now, why is it 0.00 there? Because I have a price in there, 1234, right? But as far as it's concerned, I'm ordering 0 of that thing. There's nothing there. Let's just say a test. I'm going to write test in here. Okay. If I want that to be 15 of them, enter. Now it has a number to work with, right? If it doesn't have anything, now it's 185.10. Before, if there's nothing in that cell, it just acts like there's a 0 there. So that's what it'll treat that as, okay? So I'm going to get rid of these. I can drag over top of all of them and just delete them, okay? Because I don't need that. That was just an example. I'll get rid of my extra 15 here and delete. All right. Okay. So now we know how to multiply one cell by another one. Now the next cool thing that this will do is, and it's a little chopped up here. This will be a little bit different for you guys. So right here I have totals, okay? Now, what I want to do is, I might change this a little bit different for you guys. Actually, no, totals. That's what I'll do. I'll do totals. Okay, so let's just change this here. Total. Okay, and I'll change this one. Now it's not letting me click on it. See, I can't actually click for some reason to do it. So if you want to change something and it's fighting you on not letting you click it to change it, you can just click up here in the formula bar where the text is, and you can hover over that and then change it. And I'll call this one now totals with tax. Okay. All right. So it's kind of annoying that this one's centered over here and this one's locked over here. So what I'll do is, let's see, where is this? Increase decimal places and seeing where this is. Here we go. Line here. So this one's aligned to the right, so it pulls it right close to my calculation thing. So I'll probably do the same thing here. Horizontal align, and I'll align it like that. Okay, so that pulls the text over here instead of it being centered. Before, I dragged out that cell to make the link fit above, right? Because that link was in the same cell width. So that's why it stayed centered and it looked really off. So you can just kick that over. Okay, so totals. So now what we want to do for this one is we want to take these ones, okay, and add them all together. And that'll tell me what my total cost of all my materials is. So again, starting a formula, we hit equals, okay? Now, we could click this cell, and then plus, and then this cell, and then plus, and then this cell, and then plus, until we've got every cell we want in there, okay? But that becomes very tiring and cumbersome if you have a big, long spreadsheet. So, it moved that up on me. Reference, it's throwing an error here, so. Okay, because it doesn't have a calculation, it's going to say error because it says equals I-25. You can't just do that. Okay, so I'll erase that. I'll start over. Equals. Okay, now what we want to do is start typing SUM, sum. A sum of parts, right? So a sum is the sum of a series of numbers and or cells, right? So as I type in sum, this dialog will pop up here, and these are all different formulas. Some of them are very complicated and get a little bit more involved, but we need to stick with the very first one. sum of a series of numbers and or cells. So we just click it, okay? Now it puts a bracket there. And now what it wants us to do, it wants me to tell it what cells it wants to add all together. And the nice thing is I can just drag them all right from here. And just imagine I had a whole list of stuff. I could just drag all the way down to right above where my cell is. And I click enter. I think it's going to mess up. Oh no, it worked. Yeah, so I just dragged in all of the cells, including all these blank ones. Okay, so it'll add every number that's in all of these cells. Now the nice thing about that is, if I add any more information into these cells, as I do, it will change this value. So right now it's 246.61, which is the sum of all of these numbers. Okay, so if I put in 100 in here, or now it's going to go up $100, 346.61. See, okay. So just keep that in mind, and that's because, because I've added all of these cells. So even this cell, if I put $10 in there, there you go. It adds it right to it because I've included that cell. Okay, there. I'll get rid of the 10 because I don't need it, but it's a really nice thing. Sum all of these cells together, and that gives us our total cost of all our materials. Okay. Our very last cell that we have to do here, totals with tax. Now, what I want this to do is I want to take my totals cell right above it, and I want to add on tax. And the way we do that in Ontario, we have a 13% HST, right? So what we do is we can go equals to say I want to multiply something, or I want to do a math calculation, and I want to say I want to multiply the total, whatever it finds in there, shift 8, which gives me the multiply sign. I want to multiply it by something. Now, if I multiply it by 0.13, that will tell me the tax, okay? But I don't want just the tax calculation. I want to have the tax with the total included. So all we have to do is put 1.13. And you guys will do this exact formula, just with whatever cell you're using. You hit enter, and there it goes. So my totals is 246.61. And then with the tax added on, it comes out to 278.67. Okay, so that way you can budget for these things. Okay, again, if I add more money in here, okay, when I click enter, this one should go up by 100, and this one will increase by $113 because it's adding 100 into here, and then it's multiplying this number by 1.13. So let's see, there it goes. See, all right. So that's why, again, it's very important to use these formulas. And when you guys share this with me, I will be able to click on here, and I will be able to see your formula up here and here to see that you've used the correct formula. If you've gone and done these calculations on a calculator on the side, and then just filled them in, just raw numbers, doing the math on your own, that will get you the right answers, but it won't show me the formula right here, and I will not give you the marks for it. So do not try to cheat this. If this doesn't make sense, watch the other video I've posted. Watch this one again, and you can follow along with your own numbers. Pause the video and follow along, okay? So that's all the information that needs to be there. I will notify you in case there's other information you need to have in there on the assignment. So read the assignment very thoroughly, okay? Read it twice if you have to make sure you have everything checked off, okay? Name, project name, I've already went over parts, number, length, width, thickness, okay? You guys know that. And then the trickiest part is these here, okay? Learning how to do those formulas, okay? The grade 11 and 12 courses I run, they have to design a whole shed and calculate a whole spreadsheet for every part of that shed. So it actually ends up being very far down and usually ends up costing in the $3,000 range with all the materials that they have to purchase. So this is just a basic beginner's lesson. Very good intro for it, but you'll find that these are very handy when you get into the construction environment and you have to make orders or place orders. So it's a really good thing to use. So that's it for me. I'll let go of you guys now, and good luck on it, and I'll see any questions you have posted. Talk to you in a bit.